I think so many people that want success shy just from the line because they're so scared of people not liking them. They're so scared of being painted as the villain. But when you show up and no matter what anyone says about you, no matter what people say behind your back, you know who you are. You know you're acting in integrity. Nobody can touch you.
And now, Escaping the Drift, the show designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm John Gafford, and I have a knack for getting extraordinary achievers to drop their secrets to help you on a path to greatness. So stop drifting along, escape the drift, and it's time to start right now. Back again for another episode of Escaping the Drift. Like I said in the opening, man, the show that's designed to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. And today, live in the studio, we have somebody that I'm interested for this conversation, man. This is going to be good. This is somebody that I met through somebody else that I know. And again, it was one of those, if this person's hanging out with that person, they got to be a good person and they got to know what they're doing. So with a little bit of research, I found out that this person is actually the founder and runs the largest all-female entrepreneurship group in Northern Canada. She is an Instagram expert, a networking expert, and has just done a lot of cool stuff. And I just know she's going to be a wealth of information for you guys that you can use. I mean, tactical, practical information that, again, is going to help you out with whatever you're trying to accomplish. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this in studio is Brittany Michalchuk.
How are you doing?
Brittany,
I love your energy. It is magnetizing, and no wonder you have such an amazing podcast.
Amazing podcast. I appreciate that. And you know what? That seems like a good time before we even get started to again tell the story that if you haven't heard by now, we had a little misunderstanding with Google, a little misunderstanding with the good folks at Google who nuked my YouTube channel. So we had to start it over. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to us somewhere, do me a favor, go to Escaping the Drift, give us a follow. We had to start over from scratch. It's brutal, but we're getting through it. We're working through it together. But you know what? Building a following and building a network, speaking of that, that's kind of what you're known for. That's kind of your angle. That's kind of your expertise. So let's talk a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we're going to go back, talk about what made you this amazing human. And then we're going to get to some practical and tactical.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So tell the folks that are listening exactly what it is that you do.
So I have a club. It's called the YVR Entrepreneurs Club. And we've grown into the largest female entrepreneurs club in Northern Canada. And I just love bringing people together and allowing people the power to get to where they want to go by leveraging other powerhouses in the community. So we do different events and I just love it. So again, this is a way, I always talk about mastermind groups in here a lot. I'm a member of several high-level mastermind groups, and I always talk about them as time machines because they're designed to compress time. If you want to get from A to Z, the quickest way to get there is find somebody that's already gotten there, or more importantly, has made a bunch of mistakes getting there and can save you from those mistakes and get you there. Is that a big part of what you guys do in your group? Yeah. So I feel like so many successful people, they've never done it by themselves. They've always aligned themselves with the right people. You are an expert at this by keeping company around you that's going to give you a shortcut to where you want to go. And when you are so intentional about how you show up, about the people you meet and creating value over time, when you help enough people get what they want, you're going to be able to get what you want. And if you help the right people get what they want, you are going to get to your goals so much faster.
Yeah, it's funny. Who you're around is so important. I mean, one of my favorite sayings, if you hang out with 4 dipshits, I'll show you the 5th.
Exactly. But people aren't intentional about it.
No, I think, you know what it is? I think people just get very comfortable in their circles. And I think one of the things that holds people back from true growth or truly getting where they want to be is comfort. Yeah. I think as humans, we are sought to seek it. We want to stay under those covers that extra 5 minutes because it's warm. We don't want to go out. We don't want to hit the gym sometimes because it's inconvenient or hurts or does that. But I think if you get used to being uncomfortable and stretching that self is when you really start to see growth.
Yeah. And when you put yourself in the right rooms, and I want every single person that can hear my voice to do this right now.
Okay, here we go.
You can do it as well. Let's go.
I'm getting my phone out and taking notes.
I want you to go to your text messages and I want you to look at the last last 10 people that you text message and ask yourself, do these 10 people, number one, uplift me, empower me, help me? And number two, are they getting me closer to my goals? Because there's so many people around us that have malicious intentions or are not in alignment with our best selves. And when we are unconscious about that, we're just on the hamster wheel and we are surrounding ourselves with people that are not inspiring us and lifting us up and getting us to where we want to go. How are we going to be able to become our best self? How are we going to be able to impact the world in a big way?
How can we do it? So for those of you wondering, I'm going to do it. We're going to look right now.
Let's go.
Last 10 people I text message. First one would be my float crew in New Orleans, my Hermes float crew, where we were discussing the need to put a new speaker on top of our float because their speakers are just not adequate for our Mardi Gras ride. Not adequate. There you go. There's some high quality dudes in this group too.
Love it.
My director of operations here at Simply Vegas, our front desk person to tell me that you were here. Because obviously you're a high value, you're here. The guys that run this show, the producer of this particular podcast, texting him, the CFO for my title company, and my business partner, and then Justin Colby, who's oddly enough, his episode dropped today of this show. So those are the last 10 people that I text. And some high quality folks there, nobody I would get rid of.
So you are a high performer. Everyone knows of you. You're doing such amazing things. So I feel like you're such in alignment with this. But to every single person as well, like you can take it one step further and ask yourself, what is the conversation that we had? Is the actual conversation that we had in alignment with my goals, with getting me to where I want to go? When you're so conscious of that and you make sure that every single sentence, every single person is so intentional, it absolutely transforms your life.
Again, this is the story of this podcast, the story of the book that I have coming out. It's Escaping the Drift. Really the key to it, and there's a whole chapter on living an intentional life, on being very intentional with what you want, defining what you want, and planning your day and going through your daily routine to get you, asking yourself, every action, is this taking me closer or further away from my goals? Well, you're obviously somebody that is highly motivated. Highly motivated. Tell me about you as a kid. What made this? Is this nature or nurture? Let's talk about that.
I was a really troubled kid. Bad
girls dormitory troubled? How troubled are we talking?
I was like a bad kid.
I like it.
And I just finished high school and I realized I was going down a really bad path. And I knew I had that choice in that moment.
Yeah.
I was either going to continue down this path or I was going to take control of my life and make something of myself and become somebody that I was proud of looking at in the mirror. And so was this the result of like a not so stable household, or were you just rebellious? I was rebellious.
Okay,
I had an amazing family.
Yeah.
My dad.
Kudos, mom and dad. Not your fault. There you go. I'm not blaming you.
I had an amazing family. I just had a tendency to push the edge and push the envelope, and I liked a little bit of trouble in my life. I guess.
A little bit of trouble. Just a little bit of trouble. Okay, so what was the catalyst there? When did you decide? So you get out of high school. You're and look, I can paint a picture that'll be completely inaccurate. Probably a good story, but totally inaccurate. So you're running with the gang in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Stealing cars at night, stabbing people occasionally. Yeah, your gang fights, tons of like booze and whatever else.
I don't know if it was that crazy.
You're on tour with Motley Crue in the summers. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. This is my head's going. Yeah. Tell me, troubled youth. What was the catalyst for that made you say like, man, I need to straighten this up? Was there an event, or did you just wake up one morning and say, maybe I need to grow up a little bit?
Yeah. I remember I was doing a workshop one day and the man at the front, he's like, I want you to close your eyes and envision a graveyard of your where you lay when things are over. Mm-hmm. And I want you to think about what they say about you when you're gone and what's the legacy that you want to live. And I remember I was sitting there and I covered in goosebumps as I say this, but I had tears streaming down my face because I knew that there was so much more potential inside of me. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't get my act together and start living out my potential every single day waking up and pushing myself to become a better version of myself, I knew that when the time came, I was going to be full of regrets. I was going to be somebody that had given into instant gratifications instead of somebody that was really impacting the world in a big way.
So what did you do? You make the decision, right? You come out of the Dickens.
I started following people like
Dickens,
you.
Yeah, so much of the Dickens effect of what Tony Robbins would do if you've ever been to UPW. But yeah, similar to the Dickens effect. So you come out of that, what do you do?
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I just have so much respect for what you do, is because I started surrounding myself with people like yourself that were ambitious and worked hard and had to go to head on their shoulders. And I just
How'd you get rid of the other people? Did you just fade away, or did you tell them?
No, I just stopped responding, and it was really tough.
The Irish
and
goodbye.
a lot of people that are listening to this need to cut some people out of their life.
The Irish goodbye.
Even if it's their own family members, there are toxic people that are allowing this behavior to happen. And so I just listened to every single, I used to have the DVDs. Do you remember we had DVDs, the discs in our car?
Which one?
Oh, I had Tony Robbins, I had Deepak Chopra, all of them. And
how old are you when you're doing this?
I was about like 18 to 20. I started changing my life.
That's pretty advanced for an 18 to 20 year old.
Oh yeah, I got involved really young. I knew from a young age I needed to get things in order.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, dude, 18 to 20, what is this? What is she talking about? Yeah. What is this woman even like
14
I'm 20, I'm 28. I don't know what the hell is going on. Listen, I didn't really figure it out till I was like 30, 32. So don't worry. She's overachieving 18, understanding you got to turn your life around. But I was 7 and my finger painting didn't come out the way it was. And I was like, man, I got to do something different. I got to get some goals. No,
let's go.
Let's go. All right. So you started listening to that stuff.
Yeah, I started listening to podcasts like yourself.
What were you doing for a living?
I was an entrepreneur since I was like 9. Okay. I had a rock company, Beanie Babies, Pogs.
What's a rock company?
It was my first company.
Right,
I used to paint rocks.
Okay.
And I would go around door to door and sell them. And when you were a kid and people would give you a $20 bill, that was like a jackpot.
Oh,
And so all my friends were like playing in the park, and here I was like painting rocks and like figuring out anything I could sell. My parents would buy me stuff, and I basically was like a walking garage sale. I was always like slanging like 5-cent candies.
You're like rolling up, you open the jacket, like, what can I get for these Barbies? Who wants a Barbie? I got fresh goods right here. Fresh Barbie. Who wants it?
Yeah, I had those beaded animals hang off my backpack. I'd walk around and I'd literally be selling them as I was walking.
Christmas is coming up. You start taking lists of what people in the neighborhood need. You're like, here's my Christmas list. I need a case of Marlboros. I need some curlers. And people are like, what are you talking about? Because you already had buyers for it on the back end. I get it. Okay. So you're flipping.
Yeah, so I did that. And then I started a tutoring company. I realized
that's cool.
I think being intentional and working backwards is so important. So I was like, what is the subject I can make the most amount of money in? And I was really good at math. And so I used to tutor Math 30 Pure, because then the students wouldn't pay me, the parents would pay me, and they needed Math 30 Pure to get into university. So I made a killing with that, started having tutors underneath me.
This is a Canadian thing. I've never heard this phrase.
Yeah. And then
is this like Common Core math? Math 30 Pure?
Yeah, you need it to get into university or college.
Okay.
And then I started my marketing company, did really well. We were doing high 6 figures. When I was about 20, I launched that.
And then what was
from
that?
There, I used to have the largest marketing and promotional company in Western Canada.
Okay.
And we used to have clients like Ducati, ATB Financial, Bacardi.
So you would run their in-person events?
I did all their street activations. We used to have all the staff in Sobeys, Liquor Depot, Co-op, all over. So.
I love that. All right, so you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that moved on to what?
Then that moved on to my business, which it was an online academy. And I taught people how to grow on social media and create powerful brands, because I think so many people, they have something inside of them. They have a passion. They have a drive to impact people. But they don't know how to present themselves. Yeah. They don't know how to build an engaging brand that gets people excited about what they're doing. And so I love being able to help people navigate the world of showing up powerfully online to be able to impact them in a big way.
I have an interesting question, something you just said though, because you went from obviously I'm not going to include rock selling.
Yeah.
But we'll go from, you had this street activation company running marketing, and then you did a hard pivot. And this is all before you're really young doing all this. So my question is, because this is something that plagues a lot of people, right? It does, which is when you build something and it starts going well, you get bored with it. You're like, especially if you're a true entrepreneur, you're kind of like, I'm kind of bored. It's like you put together the puzzle, it sits on the coffee table for a couple of days, and you're like, at first you're like, I'm going to put glue on it and I'll put it on cardboard. And you're like, dude, just put this thing back in the box. I got to do something else. So is this something where you got bored with the company you were doing and just shut it down and pivoted? Or did you have a buyer for it on the back end? Like what was that?
Yeah. So I kept on doing it. It was all passive income at that time. And it just kind of pivoted into this current company. And like you said, I think
so. It just evolved.
Yeah, it just evolved.
So you went from doing the in-person stuff to really doing more online stuff, which it enabled you to kind of branch out into this.
Yeah. And then it morphed into in-person again, where now I do events and I bring people together, and it's very, it's half and half. Half of it's more of the deep work, get people very emotionally invested into the experience. And then the other half is marketing.
See, I love that, because one of the things that I preach a lot is a good way to escape the drift is to become a person that is known as somebody that can connect the dots.
Yeah.
If you are, Dan Fleischman always says, Dan's a good friend, and he always says one of his superpowers is his cell phone.
Yeah.
He goes, this is my cell phone, because there is nothing anybody on the planet could need or want that I can't connect them with somebody that can make that happen.
100%.
So that's I'm guessing was kind of the basis of what you started your organization.
Yeah. So I think that, and you're really good at this, is in order to get to where you want to go, you have to have the support of people.
Yeah.
You have to have connections. And so one of the things that got me to where I wanted to go so much quicker, and every single person that's listening can employ this into their own life, is figure out the people that you need to connect with. I want every single person to write down 5 people right now.
Who are you writing down?
5 people that you can make an effort to connect with that you have not yet connected with. And I want next to that person, write down their desires, write down what they want, write down what they need.
Strong.
And then figure out how you can help that person. Because so many people, they come to people like yourself and they're like,
I'm going to read it to you from 5:06 a.m. You ready? 5:06 a.m. this morning from Igor Masial. Igor, if you're listening, whoever you are, I've never met you. But it says from Igor Masial, it says, your page caught my attention. That's why I contacted you. And I would like to know more about you and your work. What are you currently focusing on at a professional level? I fucking hate that question. I think this is sloppy. No offense, Igor. If you're listening, I'm trying to help you, dude. Do what she just did. If you want to really get connected to me and you want to get in my circle, do it. Dude, I'm not hiding. My whole life is on social media. You can figure out exactly what I'm doing. There's links to everything that I do. Look at what I do and figure out where you can plug in.
Yeah.
This is so sloppily done. I hate this. And the worst part is, I'm not even mad at Igor, because I don't think you did this. I think there's a bot somewhere that did this for you, right?
Yeah.
You didn't do that, right? You're not sitting there at 5:06 in the a.m. asking me what I'm interested in on a professional level today. It's not happening.
That's a copy and paste.
Don't do it. That's a copy and paste. Don't do that. So again, go back to what you were saying, because I love it. Yeah. So you write down 5 people that are in alignment with your goals that you want to connect with, that's going to help elevate you in your business or your life. Yeah.
And figure out, what do they want? What are their top level priorities? What are their desires? What makes them tick? Your podcast is a passion of yours. How can people support your podcast? Can a videographer say,
can I show you? Can I share with you a different email? I'm going to share with you a different one. Okay. Now, as bad as that was, let's share with you something that was very well done. So I got this.
I love these practical examples.
Dude, listen to this, because it happens to me all day long, and I have practical examples. This is what I get. I get literally, and I won't say this guy's name, but he says, hey, this is so-and-so. Where did this go? He sent me, where did this get off to? Here we go. He sent me a long email, right? That said, I met you at this event, blah, 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 about your podcast. And literally, I'm not going to read off all of it, but here's like 10 things about a podcast, and he's naming people specific. Like, I can introduce you to John Lee Dumas. Travis Chappell's a great contact. Well, I already know travel. He would probably get you on interviews. I'll introduce you to Brandon Schutzer from Investment Joy, over 1 billion views and million subs. Here's his YouTube. I'll do this. I can introduce you to this guy. I know this person. Podcast Movement. I can get you a free ticket. You could probably speak there next year. It's just, he's listing out literally 10 things that he can do for me.
Wow.
And guess what's already happened today? I already talked to this dude.
Amazing.
Right? We already had a conversation because this was, sorry, Igor, I hate as bad as you were. That's how good this was. This is exceptional. It was exceptionally done. So I don't have to wonder. He sent me a damn catalog. I mean, there are 18 things on this list numbered of what he can do for me, which I thought was just incredible, and it was amazing. And not all of them are things that appeal, but dude, that is all
you need is one of those things to build a relationship with
no kidding. No kidding.
Yes.
Don't make I don't have to I don't have to think about it. I thought it was very, very well done.
I love that.
Very well done. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about two things with you today, because we're going to get practical knowledge on two things. One of which, building network. One of which is Instagram, growing your Instagram. Because we talked about it yesterday, just some organic stuff you told me. I thought was great. If you're looking to build your Instagram following today, this is going to be a great show for you. If you're looking to grow your network, it's going to be a great show for you. But before we get to that, we got to talk about one thing we do have in common.
Yes, we do.
Which is, at one point in our lives, we were both villainified by reality television.
Not reality.
You know what's funny? Well, I don't know what season you were on.
Yeah.
But you were on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Correct? I have a girl that works for me on my team that was also on The Bachelor. I don't know if it was the same season. Probably not.
I wonder what her character got edited to.
She didn't make it out of episode 1.
Oh no.
She got the early acts. So but it was a long time. I don't know what episode. So anyway, walk us through so how'd you wind up on The Bachelor?
Well, I thought it was a love story. Apparently it's not a love story. It's all drama.
Were you really going on there to look for love, or were you just like, this is a good opportunity to get some face time?
I thought that there was a really good opportunity to potentially find the love of my life. I didn't know it was going to be The Bachelor.
I love that.
But I thought, it's an opportunity for people to also see like, oh, she is single and she is looking for somebody. I was like, might not be The Bachelor I end up with, but maybe through my social media or maybe on television, it would attract somebody else. So I thought that it couldn't hurt.
But they edited you to be the bad guy.
Yes.
How many episodes did you make?
I think there was about 6 girls left, and I just walked off the scene.
You just left?
Yeah. I tried to leave 3 times, but they wouldn't let me leave because the majority of the episodes were about what I was doing.
Your drama.
Yeah, they knew if I was gone, the entire show was like,
the ratings are going to sink. Yeah, that's it. You're the most entertaining one. Yeah. Like I told you, the way I got edited on my season at the end of it, The Apprentice got ruined. But the first 2 seasons of the show were so great. And it's really because, honestly, Donald Trump was not an executive producer. He signed on to do 2 seasons and that was it. And the problem was, season 1, there was a lady on that show named Omarosa, who everybody probably remembers her name because she was crazy psycho on that show. And I don't know, man. I'm not going to call her crazy psycho, but let's just say I've met her, and that edit's not too far from not.
Why
too far
don't you tell us how you really feel?
But the point is, like, that first season, right? It was like, of my show, it was like a horse race. Like, you just pick somebody to root for, and everybody ran. Everything was good until Omarosa got fired. And when that happened, like, she just made herself a villain. They weren't vilifying anybody. She made herself a villain. And like when she got fired, when Trump fired her, America cheered for Trump. Like, hey, he's the hero. And in case you didn't know anything about Donald Trump, I'll tell you a little inside secret about him. He loves when people like him. He loves it.
No.
Right? Yes. He's kind of a glutton for attention. And he loves positive reinforcement. So from that moment forward, when he signed up to do subsequent seasons, he became an executive producer. So he had some say in how the editing goes. And what ruined the show, and what never made it as really as even my season, which was the highest rated season, but it was never as good as
you were on it.
I know, but it was never as good as the first 2 because it went from like this pure horse race to like, you could see who was going to get fired because they would just turn you into a villain because Trump wanted to look good when he fired you. It became more about making him look good than anything else. So
they have an agenda.
Yeah, dude. So when they fired me, and granted, look, some of the stuff that came out of my mouth, they didn't make we didn't have AI back then. They didn't make an avatar that created me saying some of this stuff, but
what's called Frankenbidding. They slice words together.
And dice it together.
So you say things like, I love ice cream. Yeah. And then in another sentence, you said something like, I don't like fighting, and then they'll edit the I love and then the word fighting from the other sentence to create a whole new sentence that you didn't say.
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, it was more like I would say something like, oh, like I would be messing around with two of the girls I was in the task with because we're all friends, and I'd say something like, let's go pimp some girls, and they'd be like, oh, I'd laugh, and you're so stupid, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then on the show, they cut to them just like dead-faced, like, because the guy was like, we got to turn left at this light, and like that was a reaction to make it look like they were super offended. So yeah, it was being a villain on reality TV was not fun.
Well, fun. You know what? I think that it was a great learning lesson for me.
Yeah.
Because what I realized is how strong we truly are. Like when you get off reality TV and you are painted in a light that is so out of alignment of who you actually are and what you actually said, it shows you how strong you are, because I think so many people that want success shy just from the line because they're so scared of people not liking them. They're so scared of being painted as the villain. But when you show up and no matter what anyone says about you, no matter what people say behind your back, you know who you are. You know you're acting in integrity. Nobody can touch you. That's how you have the confidence to go out there.
We got to talk about we got to talk about this. And I don't know if this was your experience. What year were you on this show? What year?
4 years ago.
Okay, so this is relatively recent. Okay. I don't even know if they still exist, but when I was on the show a million years ago, they had like forums. Like there was like fan sites where it was like Reddit sites where they would just like, all the fans would go on and discuss the show, right? And if you watch episode 1 of my season, like everybody on those forums was like all over the internet, like this dude's going to win. He's awesome. This guy's the best, blah, blah, blah. And dude, when they turned on me, it was kind of like I'd never gone through anything, experienced a situation where you have like tens of thousands of people like talking shit about you online.
Oh my God.
Like it was wild. Like it screwed my head pretty good. At the time, I was the CEO of a tech firm before it went to do that. And I got to tell you, I botched that job terribly because I got consumed with this just like, it's just such a weird, surreal thing that, be careful what you ask for if you want to do that. And I think that now in the day and age of social media, the way it is, I think people are a little more immune to when people talk shit about you. It happens all the time on everything we post.
I think people are more sensitive.
Do you think they do?
Oh, 100%.
Now I just maybe it's because I'm older. Now I just laugh. And it's
you're wiser. It's and you've been through it, so it's not gonna be like, look at you now. Yeah. You didn't allow those bullies to keep you down. You got back up.
Dude, it was ruthless.
Rose from the ashes, and look at this amazing business that you've created, this podcast. And that's what every single person I think is so important that they take away from this is no matter what happens to you, no matter if you get painted as a villain, no matter if you get knocked on your knees, look at what can happen when you get back up and keep pushing and have your eyes on your goals and do not stop at anything. Have the confidence so deep in your soul that nothing and nobody is going to stop you.
It's going to stop you. All right. Well, now let's talk about Instagram a little bit because you showed me some cool tips yesterday. And dude, if you're looking to build your Instagram following, and I'm going to, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's so funny. We were talking about yesterday that I just, at one point, the marketing team that I invested in, it was a team that you know of and who the guy's now in jail. Thanks. But this is a dude that was working with a lot of people that I knew. Everybody was using
Everybody was
using this guy. And honestly, what they did in the methods that they use to grow our accounts and get them verified and do those things, really kind of shifty, right? Yeah. They're just shady. And you wound up with this audience of people that are not receptive to what we do and don't do. And so now it's so funny, I feel like I'm allowed to judge others by this because I judge myself by the same standard. Like at one point I had like 140,000 followers, whatever it was. Now it's down to like 91,000, which I'm super happy about. Like seriously, if you're watching this clip on Instagram and you don't really vibe with me, please stop unfollowing me because you're hurting me by being here. Right. So but working it down to having an organic audience that really resonates with you is so important. So if you're thinking about growing Instagram, the first thing I'm going to give a disclaimer, do not buy followers, do not do marketing things, do not do giveaways. Don't do that shit, because it's going to get you a lot of trash followers that just aren't worth anything and end up hurting your engagement when you actually post stuff.
Yeah.
We're through that now, but it took me almost, it's taken 2 years to get through that. It's been bad. So tell me how to do it right.
Yeah. So a couple things. One thing you mentioned is engagement. The reason why it's so important to get a lot of engagement on your post is because how the Instagram algorithm works is dependent upon how much engagement, likes, comments, shares you get on the post is going to determine how much Instagram shows you on the newsfeed on your second post. That's why you want to keep making viral content. You don't want to be posting. I say you need to post content that you don't think is going to go viral on your story. That's something that it's going to disappear in 24 hours, but you need to be so intentional about the content that you put on your wall and make sure, are you thinking, is this content going to go viral? 90% of your content should have you being like, yes, this has the potential to go viral, because so many people are so unintentional about their content. They just throw content up there and they're like, why am I not growing? Because your content sucks.
Well, that was some advice that I got as well several years ago, and I've stopped that, which I got this omnipresent advice, which was, dude, you just got to post like 6 times a day on every single channel.
You'll never grow.
180 pieces of content, all the stuff. And we were just posting everywhere. And it was like, dude, this is just exhausting. Yeah. So now we don't do that.
Quality.
Anymore. We don't do that anymore. We try to post good things that obviously are good clips from this podcast. Yeah. And then, the stories and little things about me or different things come up to show a real person. But again, don't listen to me, listen to you. So I'm starting a new Instagram account today. How do I grow? So
I'm going to share with you the number one hack that we're using. And you guys can add me on Instagram, Brittany Michalchuk, BrittanyMichalchuk, and see some of the stuff that I'm doing. And my Instagram account, YVR Entrepreneurs Club. The best way that we are growing right now is by tagging people and making them collaborators. And here's why. Because you are growing your audience and it's mostly showing you to people that are following you. Sometimes you'll end up on the Explore page and go viral. But the second you make yourself a collaborator, let's say me and you were a collaborator for a podcast episode.
Real quick. We're going to do this right now. We're going to collaborate right now.
Let's do it.
All right, so here's what we're going to do in real time.
Yeah, and when you make them a collaborator, then not only are you being shown to your audience, but you are then being shown to their audience. Right. So you're opening up so many doors for new people to see you by leveraging not only the current community that you've built, but other people's communities. And that is basically you getting in front of their audience. And it's going to help you guys both grow. So it's a win-win. And that's really how you succeed.
So clutch. So here we are with Brittany in the studio. We're talking about how to grow your Instagram following today, as well as your networking. So, man, this podcast can be hot, coming out soon. You're going to want to check it out. You're going to want to do it. All right. So we have now recorded this video, which I'd use the double camera. So we have
that's awesome.
So we have both of us on there. I'm going to save it. So when I go to post this now, so I'd post it as a reel. Yes. I'm not going to do it now. We're going to talk through.
Yeah.
How would I post this?
So I'll add one more layer of feedback is before you post it, I would also add something that's going to inform, educate, or entertain them.
Sure. I'm not really going to post that.
So then what I would do is from there, I would create something in the caption that has to do with something that's going to inform, educate, or entertain them with a call to action. So you go to Instagram, you go to your reels, you go to the tagging section. It says add tags, or right next to it says invite collaborator. You make me a collaborator. It's going to show up on both our walls.
Do you have a business page to do that?
Yes, a business or I don't think a personal page would do it, or a creator page.
A creator page to invite collaborators.
Has different options. So if you are a creator or a business page, a business account, the correct terminology is account, you're allowed to add different links to stores. Yeah. You have some different options. You have primary and general inbox. Creator allows you some different options as well, but you don't want a personal Instagram account. It's the most limited account that you can have.
Yeah, there's no reason anybody would ever, your Nana would have that, right?
Yeah.
Nana.
Yeah. But yeah, you want to be collaborators. And then the other thing that's really, really, really powerful that's going to help you grow is taking people in your story. We've tested this. For some reason, when you take people in a reel, sometimes they'll share it for sure. But what we noticed we get more shares on is when we take people in the story. So this is a life hack. This was revolutionary to my social media experience. When you take 20 people on your story, it's not going to send a notification to them that you tagged them. Okay. But if you tag under 11 to 12 people on your story, it will show those 11 to 12 people that you tagged them. They'll get a notification that says this person has tagged you.
So 12 is the magic number.
12 is the magic number, less than. And then what you can do so you can maximize more tags is you can go to the bottom right-hand corner and say add mentions. Then you can add 8 more people because the maximum number of people you can tag for a story is 20. And basically every single story that you take before you push send, you want to think about, oh, I'm at a casino. Maybe I should tag the Wynn Hotel. I'm at a restaurant. I'm going to tag their Instagram. Oh, I'm wearing, Tommy Hilfiger, I'll take them. I'm with this person. I, got my hair done here. I'm wearing this watch or whatever that is. Because then what you're doing is you're piggybacking off their audience. And if you're a personal brand, you want to get pictures with people. So me and you get a picture after this podcast episode. I tag you. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to reshare it. And that's why you want to get out your phone and get it on your phone. Because then what I notice happens is if you get the content, then you're more likely to share it, obviously. And then if I tag you on my stories and you reshare, then your audience is going to be like, who's Brittany Michalchuk? They're going to click on it and they're going to see.
You know what's funny? Why I love this is because something that I teach our people, right, is part of how to grow your network in real estate and how to grow your base. And again, if people don't know you, they won't use you, is a technique I call showing some love. And I'm like, look, you should have a goal every day to, if it's your dry cleaner, a restaurant you're at, whatever. And don't do it where you're like, cause like so many realtors are just like, hi, if you know anybody looking to buy and sell real estate, I really, call me. I'm just saying, like, terrible. Don't do that. Right. But if you can do it subtly to remind people what you do as much as, and as often as you can and get in front of those people, you'll be in good shape. So for example, I'm like, if you're at a restaurant, you put out like, oh dude, I just want to tell you this place, Ventano, has the best spaghetti bolognese ever, blah, blah, totally realtor approved. And then tag them in it. Because again, they're just looking for any content they can ever possibly get and they'll share it. But the thing that you just said that kind of puts steroids on that I never thought of is, dude, tagging brands. If you're wearing clothes or holding a bag or standing, like you wouldn't do that if you live, if you're in Vegas, if we live here, we're in casinos all the time for one reason or another. For those of you who don't live in Vegas, you're like, why are you in a casino all the time? Dude, sometimes it's where we go to the movies. It's just how the world works, right? But straight up, if you take a photo in there for whatever reason, tag wherever you are. You don't even have to be talking about them. The fact that you just look like you're having fun. You can tag them and then pull the tag off the screen so they don't even, it doesn't even show that they were tagged. They just get a notification that this person tagged them. It just looks like you're having fun because they're so people are so thirsty for stuff to post.
Of course, and we share. And here's one other thing that you can do.
You don't even have to say it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so what you can do is you don't have to say it or you can say it. The other thing that people are way more likely to share, I love breaking down everything in my life to science and reverse engineering it. The thing that I notice people share the most
is what?
Testimonial videos. So if you meet somebody and you're like, I was just on Escaping the Drift, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was powerful. It was insightful. It was an amazing opportunity. And make sure you check it out. And I shared that.
I support that message.
Yes. And then what's going to do, you have to think of the psychology of the other person. What are they going to want to share?
Yeah.
What is their highest level priorities? So for example, if you were at an event, don't just say like the event, talk about something that's insightful and figure out a compliment that's genuine and meaningful to that other person. Share it on your story and tag them. And I almost guarantee you they're going to share it. Yeah.
Love that, man.
And then you piggyback off all their audience. That's how I blew up in the space. Whatever business I do, I quickly climb to the top. It's because I understand my target demographic. I understand other human beings so well that it's like a game of chess for me that I'm like, know where I want to go. And it's just doing little strategies like this that can help you in your life massively.
Well, it's so funny because like, before I let anybody on the show that wants to come on the show that I don't really know, even if they're a friend of a friend, I'm always like, okay, let's see how legit this person is. And it used to be, okay, this was the progression of Instagram, right? It used to be you go on and see if they're verified. You're like, whoa, okay, cool. You're verified. You're somebody, all good. Which is why back in the day, we paid so much money to get verified, right? That's why it was worth it. Now you can write, what is it, $9 and get the blue checks? It doesn't even matter. So then it became, how many followers do you have? Like, oh my God, this guy has like 400,000 followers. That's amazing. No, that doesn't matter. Now everybody looks at the engagement. Like, look at your post, which again, like, I am not ashamed of my bad choices in the past that have caused some of my posts to have bad engagement. I'm not ashamed of this. I got bad advice. That's it. I wear it like I wear it like a warning to others, if you will. So it's fine. But when you look at somebody's engagement, your stuff, like 8,000, 20,000, everything you post, which, we all have some stuff that hits now and again. It hits huge, but you probably average that all the time. So obviously what you're doing is right. How you're doing is right. Your audience is very receptive to you. It's obvious that these are people that follow you, not because they thought they were going to win, dinner with Lil Yachty somewhere on a giveaway. They actually found you, which I like. So let's talk about hashtags, because how important is that anymore? Is that something that even matters? I mean,
yes, hashtags do matter. And then I'm going to talk about another really important way to grow.
I love it.
Hashtags are very important because Instagram doesn't know who you are. There's no human being that's monitoring, escaping the drift, and knowing
like Google knows
who to show it on their newsfeed. But when you use hashtags, you're telling Meta, you're telling Instagram that this is my niche. Show this to people that look up this hashtag, show this. They create these little like groups of people depending on words that are in your bio, words that are in your captions, hashtags that you use based on your name, your profile name, your surname, all of the different, your handle. And they're creating these groups of people so that they know me and you are in the same space. They're going to show our content to similar demographics. That's why hashtags are a signal to them where to show your content. You don't want to have tons and tons of hashtags. 4 or 5 is fine. How many should you have? 4 or 5? Yeah, 4 or 5 is fine. It's up for debate. There's magic.
Real quick. Do you find it better to put them in the captions or to put them in the first comment?
It has to be in the captions. The comments make it null and void. Yeah.
Okay, cool. See, again, bad advice. There you go. Because we've been putting, I think whoever does my posting has been putting them in the first comment. So we need to move that back up to the caption.
They switch it right now. It's captions.
Okay, cool. I believe you. Look, I believe you. We'll switch that today.
And so the other important aspect and how we've been growing extremely rapidly is by every single social media person says this, but this is why it is so important, is engagement. And this is why. How many times have you been messaging somebody or you recently followed them and then they show up on your news feed?
Yeah.
And the reason why is because what you're telling Meta is me and this person have a relationship. Show my content on their news feed. Yeah. So every time you like or comment or engage with another person, it's called social media karma, where they're more likely to engage with you back. If you went up to somebody at the mall and you said, "Hey, I love your pants," are they just going to look at you and walk away? No, they're probably going to say, "Thank you so much."
They'll probably call a security guard on me if I said that. This weird guy's talking about my pants. I don't know what's going on. It's very strange.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
But on a good day, they're going to give you some social media karma back. So that's why you have to engage with other people. The rule of thumb that I have is don't post and ghost. After I post, I sit there for half an hour, and everyone that likes my comments or likes my post and everyone that comments on my post, I'll go engage with them. I'll go comment on their last 3 photos, or I'll go like their last 3 photos, because what's that?
Do you have to follow them to do that?
No, not unless their account's private. Then you can just do that.
Because that's another thing. It seemed like back when I got into the Instagram thing heavy, like when I was a heavy user, when I went down that dark road of becoming an Instagram bro. When I went down that road, it seemed like the flex to be like, what you wanted was like 100,000 followers, but I only follow like 8 people. Yeah. That's it. That's what you like. You want to see like that was my flex, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, I follow no man. Just you follow me. I don't follow you. And so is that dead now? I mean, do you on your account?
You can only follow 7,500 people.
Really? That's it?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I always have to unfollow people. It's very annoying.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but the way you can unfollow people is you go to your followers, go to the earliest followers. Those are people you followed like 10 years ago or when you first started in chronological order. So I just unfollow them. So, but yeah, so I don't do that because social media karma. You're more likely to follow me if I follow you back.
Yeah.
And so I just follow.
You just follow everybody as you can.
And because people will unfollow you if you don't follow them back. And so how the social media karma works is you have to be engaging with other people. And because you're going to signal to social media, to Instagram, that they are a person of interest and it will help you grow. So if you do it or if you hire somebody else to, you have to be engaging. They got to be
social. But see, I don't think I'm social enough back. I don't think I engage back, which is funny because part of what we teach, again, with growing your network on social media in real estate to our agents that work here is literally having a spreadsheet of all of your people on Facebook that are there. And then you systematically go engage with their posts. Because if you don't, Facebook doesn't, or Meta, whatever it is now, doesn't think that you know each other and they won't show your stuff.
Exactly.
So the more you engage with others, the more your engagement goes up because they go, oh, these people actually have a relationship.
Yeah. So when you post, your post is going to show up on their news feed. It's super important. And here's another thing that affects the Instagram algorithm.
You got to give to get, ladies and gentlemen. You got to give to get.
100% is Instagram also takes into consideration how much time you spend on social media. So if you spend a lot of time on social media, they're going to reward you and show your content on other people's newsfeed. If you go MIA on social media, they're going to be like, oh, you cheated on me. You were probably on TikTok or taking your dog for a walk, which they don't like.
They don't like, no, you can't walk the dog if you have social media.
No, you need to be addicted. You need to be drinking the Kool-Aid. And because how they make money is from paid ads. If they have billions of people on their platform, they're going to make more money for their shareholders. That's their main goal. Everything Instagram does, they don't care about you. They will sell your information in a second. They want more people on their platform so they can make money with ads. You have to understand the psychology of anything, technology, human beings, everything. And so the more time you spend on social media, they're going to reward you. That's why you need to be engaging. You need to be on social media. And I'll share with you another thing that's really important as well, is they're going to take into consideration how much engagement you get on your stories. That's why you want to have polls on your stories, controversial polls. One of my most controversial polls back in the day was who's going to win the election, Clinton or Trump. And I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people voting. What that did for all my substantial posts after that is it skyrocketed the engagement because it triggered to Instagram, this person engaged.
That's an interesting thing you just brought up because there's an election coming. It's coming. And I find that, if you're in, there's two schools of thought here. One of the schools of thought is be authentic, be you. You want to resonate with your audience is what you want, right? That's one school of thought. And that brings the people out, America, make America great again. We're going to bang it out or Trump is the devil. Either way, whatever you want, right? My philosophy on this is if 50% of the people on this planet are going to disagree with you on your political view, it's just going to happen. Yeah. So being hyper vocal about a candidate is never a good idea, I think, in my opinion, online, because you're alienating 50% of your client base. However, what I will say is this. I say if you are going to be, if you just absolutely have the need, like a burning desire to talk about something, I find that it's better to be pro a candidate than negative a candidate.
Yes. Do you want to know why?
Go ahead.
Because people resonate with emotions. Nobody wants to be bored. That's why you're so good at podcasting, because you bring emotions out of people. And when you're able to bring emotions out of people in alignment and you guys create a similarity, they're going to feel connected to you. They're going to feel like, yes, he gets me. I totally resonate with him. I want to share his content. I want to engage with him versus you showing up on social media and being boring. So yes, I personally don't post anything about politics on my social media because it's not in alignment with my brand. That being said, some people, their entire brand is about posting politics because they're creating an emotional response in their audience that is creating a personal bond. So you can use it against or for your business.
We'll edit that out. No, we won't. Yeah. We're not editing out.
Let's do it. We're getting real.
There's no editing. We're not going out. My next question is this, because it's weird. Like they say, if it bleeds, it leads, right? Like if I see these people that post, like everybody's favorite post Here's everybody's favorite post. Oh my God, I'm at business X, and let me tell you what happened to me at this business. And people love that shit, right? Like, I find that the world will serve you back up what you put out.
Yes.
And the problem is, do you find that the negative shit people post tends to get more interaction, but I don't think it's good for them in the long run? Thoughts?
Yes.
Discuss.
Such a good question.
Discuss.
I believe the type of energy you put out in the world, you're going to get back. If you're a mean person, you are going to attract mean people because you are saying to that person, this behavior is okay. If you are a good person, a genuinely good person that loves people, those are usually the people you're going to be surrounded by. So yes, you might get some more engagement on social media if you're going to call out a crappy company, but guess what? The companies that see that are going to be like, I don't even want to give this person a free service because if I mess up, they might blast me online too. So it's kind of pick your poison. So yes, you're going to get lots of engagement. Social media gets more engagement when there's controversial.
Yeah, when there's negative stuff
in the comments. Exactly. So, I mean, you got to decide.
Yeah, it's like, do I want engagements? But remember, your brand is attached to it. There's been plenty of times when I've done like a post and I've been like, I'm not posting that. Because it has negativity. Because I also firmly believe, I'm a firm believer in this, that we're so consumed with the diet that we consume with our body, right? To be in good health, but people don't mindfully consume with their brain.
Oh, I love that.
They just consume nonsense. Like, for example, if your life sucks and you're not where you are in life, but yet you've watched the last 12 episodes of the Kardashians,
yes,
there's a reason you're not where you're supposed to be. So I find that at least when I'm putting stuff out, I try to put stuff out that I would want to consume. At least what I try to do.
No, I love that. And I think that really goes to show even about this podcast. And this is something that every single listener can do, is do a time log of every single action you take during the day and write down on a piece of paper, what type of television do you watch? Is it educational? Is it documentaries? Or is it trash TV? What type of music do you like to listen to? Is it music? My soundtracks, they make me feel something. They're motivational tracks. What type of stuff do you listen to? Is it, gossip about TMZ, or is it podcasts like this podcast that's going to help you get to where you want to go? And when you get an agenda and a time log of every single thing you consume into your brain during the day, you are going to notice a direct correlation to the results in your life, the level of happiness in your life. And when you are more intentional about what you put in your mind, even down to the conversations you have with other people, you are going to notice your life completely change for the better.
Dude, back in the day, I used to love the band Social Distortion, right? Like, that was my jam. I saw them a million times in concert. I haven't listened to Social D in years and years and years and years. And like, we were driving to California and a song came on radio. I was like, I started singing along. I'm like, holy shit, these are like the most defeatist lyrics. Like, every song by Social D is like, I lost my job, got kicked, my dog ran away, the whiskey bottle's empty. I'm like, dude, this is like, I'm getting depressed just listening to this. I'm like, fuck, no, how did I get anywhere in life listening to this?
Well, and this is one step further. What kind of pages do you follow? That's what every single person can go and look at your newsfeed right now. Every single person, go to your Explore page. What is your Explore page filled of? Is it filled of motivation and inspiration and hacks to become healthier and tips for better sleep? Or is it filled with garbage memes and, just things that are not going to get you to become a better person of yourself?
I will say there's something to be said for garbage memes among friends. Here's my favorite new thing. This is what I tell people now when I meet them. I'm like, look, if you want to be friends, I'm going to tell you this straight up. You can send me a meme, or if you send me a meme, or if I send you a meme, I don't expect a response. Yeah. Right? Because everybody knows this. You send memes and like everybody's sitting there like, am I going to get like the laughy face or the cry laughy face or the WTF or what am I going to get? Yeah. Like, if I send you a meme, I don't need a response. I'm easy like that. I'm an easy meme friend. So if you want to follow me, send me memes, I'm easy. I'm an easy meme friend. I'm easy that way.
I love it.
So what else can we do for Instagram? Is there anything else you would give? Any other tips of advice?
So much. I have a 42-hour course,
Boom.
so I would love to go over all of it. In what aspect? I mean, if you want to grow on social media, the number one thing, I'll teach you all the tricks. I will share with you apps on what time you should post. I will share with you apps where you can edit the captions on. I will everything. But if you do not master this one concept that I'm about to share with you, you will not grow, period.
Okay, here it comes. Pull over if you're driving.
The most important. This is the holy grail of everything. You have to make sure what you post is quality content, period. You cannot expect to grow on social media when your posts are not shareable worthy. When every single post that you make, you have to ask yourself, is this shareable? Because not only is that how the algorithm works, it ranks how many likes you get, how many comments you get, how many shares you get, how much engagement you get. The one that's weighted the most is, did people share this? That's why if you notice, I study the analytics on the Explore page. It has the most number of shares. So that's how the algorithm works, is this shareable content? But you have to ask yourself, because that's a biggest mistake that people are making, is they're putting low quality content out there. Ask yourself, does this content inform, entertain, educate, or create an emotion inside of my viewer? And when you really start, like one of my best friends has 1.3 million followers. She treats her social media like a job. Yeah. Sometimes we'll be out and she'll have to stop and be like, Brittany, I need you to film content for me. And it'll be like an hour-long episode. I once had to go to the mall to meet her at the mall for her to fold a shirt because it was a 1.5 second slice in her video. She got all ready because she was doing where she was to where she is now. And she was working at a clothing store back in the day. Now she's making a ton of money on social media, blah, blah, blah. But drove to the mall for a 1.5 second clip. When you are intentional like that, and this is the problem, people expect results, they expect to grow, but they're not putting in 150% intentional effort into their social media. And if you want to grow on social media, you have to treat it like a job, period. You can't just be lackadaisical and post whatever you want. You have to sit down, you have to study the analytics, you have to see what type of content goes viral for you. You have to figure out, what are you passionate about? What brings out an emotion when you speak? What does your audience want to learn about? And when you start treating it like a science and you go so many layers deep of the psychology of your target demographic, of the essence of every single piece of content that you post, that is how you're going to grow. And we will wrap it up with that one, the holy grail of advice. Yes. If you're posting garbage, you're going to get garbage. That's how it works. Well, Brittany, thank you so much for coming in. It was awesome. One more time, how do they find you? Add me on social media. Tag us on social media. Tag us. I'll be share everything. Brittany Michalchuk, BrittanyMichalchuk. And if anyone tags me, I will give them my social media course complimentary. Look at that. If you just tag her, she will give you. We didn't even get into funnels and free offers and all the good stuff. Next time. We'll have to do it next time. But everybody should have that. I'll finish with this. Have your social media a call to action in your bio that gives them something for free. You got to get them into your funnel, get them invested, build the know, like, trust factor. And I think it's an integrity. You have to see if they mesh with you. You have to see if you have the solutions to their problems, and then you can go up the value chain ladder on social media. But figure out some free offers that you can do on social media and grow your brand and business and impact the world in a positive way. And don't make it dinner with Lil Yachty, because nobody wins. Nobody wins that. That's how it works. All right, guys. And I have a question before we go. One question before we go. Go ahead. Yeah, question. Get it. For you, what is something that you're excited about this year, and how are you going to impact the world in a big way? Oh man, so much. I'm really excited about the executive staff that we've brought in our companies this year. We have brought in some just absolute savages at the top of 3 of our brands, and just watching them run. Like it's one of these things where if you own businesses,
a lot of people like to say I'm the CEO. They love to say, "Oh, I'm the CEO of this bit," but you're not, dude. You're a hustler, right? You're just still a hustler. And the real question of that, and my good friend and mentor Kent Clothier says this. He says, if you left the business for 6 months, what would happen? And if you say I came back in 6 months and the place would implode, it's like you don't have a company, you got a job, right? And taking that to heart and really hiring some top flight executives to run our brands and watching them do things that are beyond what we have done and beyond what we have thought to do, and the efficiencies and the processes and the growth rates and the planning and all of the things that are happening to see, are great businesses and are incredible businesses, but really watching them start to run like Fortune 500 companies has got me incredibly excited.
I love that. That's amazing. And you have a book coming out,
I do.
Escaping the Drift.
And that is not even the thing I'm most excited about. It's
but
literally
what
watching these
is
things go.
the one thing that you hope that readers leave with that? What is the biggest takeaway?
It's the same thing that I do this, man. It's like, look, if you feel like you are at the victim of the winds of change, if you are just drifting along with the current, if you feel like life is blowing you from this direction to the left, you don't have to do that. You can swim against the current. You can stand against the breeze. You can stand up and take control of your life. And this is really a user's manual to my 28-year-old self is what it is. Because I had to figure out all this shit on my own. But, again, it's a time machine if you are stuck. If you're trying to get going, that's what it is. And we're excited about it. It's out soon. So there you go.
I love it. So everyone better buy it. Last question.
Yes.
What is the legacy you want to leave? What do you want to be remembered for?
I get asked that question a lot. And here's the God's honest truth. I don't give a shit about my legacy. And this is why. I think legacy is for egotistical men. I worry about the impact I make today. All I want is at my funeral, I want people fighting over the microphone. Other than that, I don't care.
I love that.
I don't care.
Mic drop.
That's it. So with that, if nobody don't sum up on me, that's fine, guys. But again, you just heard what I said. If you're drifting along in life, it's never too late. Stand up and swim. So we'll see you guys next time. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Escaping the Drift. Hope you got a bunch out of it, or at least as much as I did out of it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about the show, you can always go over to escapingthedrift.com. You can join our mailing list. But do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, throw up that 5-star review, give us a share, do something, man. We're here for you. Hopefully you'll be here for us. But anyway, in the meantime, we will see you at the next episode.